This little thing has killed you more times than you'd like to admit. You know what it is. You've casted it. The baby zombie. Tiny hitbox, moves, likes its own caffeine, and when it kills you, the death screen doesn't even give it credit. Just says zombie. Disrespectful, honestly. But here's the thing that nobody really talks about. This baby never grows up. And it's not the only one. Every single one of them frozen, permanently small, in a game where most baby mobs just grow up and move on. So what actually makes these ones different? Why are they stuck like this? And honestly, are they even the same mob as the added version at all? Let's actually look at who we are talking about. 9 mobs. All of them small, all of them permanent, and every single one of them has something in common that most players just never think about. In Minecraft, baby mobs are everywhere. You've seen them. Baby cows stumbling through fields, baby foxes curled up next to their parents, baby sheep with slightly too large heads relative to their tiny bodies. Honestly, kind of unsettling, but that's besides the point. All of these babies have a timer, a countdown. They grow up, they move on, they become regular, boring, full-sized versions of themselves. That's the deal. But these 9 mobs, no timer, no countdown, no growing up. They are born small, or spawn small, technically. And that is simply where the story ends. Except it isn't. Because the question is, why? And here's the first thing that should catch your attention. It's not random. It's not an accident. There's a pattern to which mobs are frozen and which ones aren't. Look at the list. Baby zombie, baby husk, baby drowned, baby zombie villager, baby zombified piglin, baby zoglin. Spot the pattern? They're all undead. Every single mob that's permanently stuck as a baby is either zombie variant, a zombie adjacent undead mob, or a skeleton horse. They're all, in some form, already dead. Now, the baby piglin is also on this list. And piglins aren't undead, technically. So that's interesting. We'll get back to that. But for now, what we know is this: something about being undead, something about the state of these mobs seems to be connected to why they can't age. And that connection might be more literal than you'd think. To understand why some mobs can't grow up, we need to understand how growing up actually works in Minecraft. And the answer, at its core, is surprisingly elegant. Every mob in the game has an internal counter called the age tag. When a baby spawns, the counter starts a large negative number. Over time, over game ticks, it slowly counts up towards 0. When it hits 0, the mob grows up. That's it. That's the whole system. A number counting towards 0. Simple, clean, and almost philosophical if you think about it too long. Which I have. You can actually see this yourself if you use the summon command. Spawn a baby sheep with age set to -100 and it'll grow up in exactly 5 seconds. 100 game ticks. Set it to -1000, it takes 50 seconds. The number is literal time. And you can also do this with zombie variants. Sort of. You can set age to a negative number and spawn what looks like a baby zombie, but it won't grow up because there's a catch. For zombie type mobs, And this is the key detail. The game doesn't actually use the age tag to control whether they're a baby. It uses a completely separate tag, one called isBaby. isBaby is a binary switch. It's either on or off, 1 or 0, baby or not baby. And critically, it has no timer. Nothing is counting down. Nothing is moving it towards 0. It's just set, and it stays set. So right there, at the data level, the game has already made a distinction. Normal babies, age tag, timer growth. Zombie babies is baby tag, no timer, no growth. This is the first real evidence we have that something fundamentally different is happening with these mobs. The game isn't just forgetting to age them. It's not a bug or an oversight. The game is deliberately using a different system for them entirely. But okay, maybe that's just a technical implementation. Maybe the developers just found it cleaner to use a binary tag for undone mobs. Maybe it doesn't mean anything beyond that. Maybe. Or maybe the technical decision reflects something real about what these mobs are. Something the game understands about them that we haven't fully articulated yet.
Now, we need to talk about the golden dandelion. If you've been playing Minecraft for a while, there's a reasonable chance you've never thought twice about this item. It's a flower. You craft it with a dandelion and 8 golden nuggets. It's relatively recent, added during the 1.21 era, and its main purpose sounds, on the surface, pretty straightforward. You use it on a baby mob and it freezes their aging, pauses it, the baby stays a baby. Use another one on the same mob and the aging resumes. Nice little mechanic, helpful if you want to keep a baby wolf around a bit longer, and it's useful for decorative purposes. Except there's a list of mobs you cannot use the golden dandelion on, a list of mobs that the game refuses to apply the age lock to. And that list is very, very specific. Read that list carefully. Almost every mob on that list is one of our permanently small mobs. Baby zombie, baby husk, baby zombified piglin, baby soglin, baby zombie horse, baby skeleton horse, all of them. The mobs that can't grow up are also the mobs you can't age lock with the golden dandelion. Why? Well, the game's own logic gives us the answer. You can't age lock a mob that doesn't age. The golden dandelion is designed to post the age counter, but these mobs don't have an age counter. They have the isBaby switch. There's nothing to pause. So the golden dandelion actually reveals something, not just about the mobs, but about how the game itself categorizes them. The game doesn't treat them as babies that happen to be permanent. The game treats them as a completely different state of being. But now, here's where it gets interesting. Baby villagers are also on the list, and baby villagers can grow up. They absolutely can, they do it all the time. So why can't you use the golden dandelion on them? Well, apparently the limitation is a deliberate design choice to keep the feature focused on companion and decorative gameplay for animals, rather than altering the complex mechanics of villager breeding and behavior. And since this video is about baby mobs that doesn't grow up, and not as much as the golden dandelion, I'll let you decide what this means for the lore of the game. Quick editor note from me. I know that I pronounced dandelion wrong. I only noticed it around the 6th of April. English isn't my first language, so I hope I didn't bother too many of you. let's talk about the exceptions, because within our lineup of permanently small mobs, some are stranger than the others. Most of the mobs on this list spawn naturally. Baby zombies show up in the world. Baby husks roam the deserts. Baby zombified piglins run around the nether. You encounter them. They're part of the world, but 3 of them don't spawn naturally at all. The baby zombie horse, the baby skeleton horse, and in Java Edition, the baby camel husk. These 3 baby variants don't generate naturally in the world. You cannot find them by exploring, you cannot breed them, you cannot obtain them through normal gameplay. They exist, the game has them, the code is there, but the world doesn't produce them. And yet, they are still on the permanent baby list. They still use isBaby. They still can't age. They still can't receive the golden dandelion. Why give a mob a permanent baby state if that mob can't even naturally be a baby? Why apply the same Frozen Age rule set to a creature that the world never creates in that state? There are a few ways to think about this. One is that it's just consistently. If zombie variants are permanent babies, then zombie horses are permanent babies, because zombie horse is just horse plus undead modifier. The rule set follows the category. But here's the other way to think about it. The game has decided that the permanent baby state isn't about being born small, it's about what you are. And what you are, undead, cursed, permanently altered, doesn't change based on whether you were born naturally or summoned by a command. That's a subtle but important difference, and it lines up with something else. Go back to the baby piglin. Remember the question mark we put next to it? Piglins aren't undead, they're not zombies, they're alive, they breathe. And yet, baby piglins are on the permanent list. They don't grow up, they use isBaby, and you can't use the golden dandelion on them. Why? One answer is simple game design. Baby piglins were added alongside piglins in the Nether update, and the developers just didn't build a growth system for them. They're ambient decoration, background life, there's no gameplay reason for them to grow up. But notice what that means. It means that the permanent baby state isn't exclusively a death thing. It's not just undead mobs, it's also mobs where growing up was never part of the plan, where the adult and the baby versions might as well be 2 different creatures with a loose family resemblance, because the pipeline from one to the other was never connected. The pipeline is broken, or maybe it was never built. And now, with all of that established, let's ask the real question. Are the baby zombie and the adult zombie the same mob? That sounds like a stupid question. Of course they are. It's literally called baby zombie. The name tells you they look the same, just smaller. They drop the same things, roughly. They're the same mob. Except, what does same mob actually mean in Minecraft? In biology, real world, briefly, bear with me. When we say a larva and a butterfly are the same species, we mean they share DNA. They're part of the same life cycle. One becomes the other. The caterpillar doesn't stay a caterpillar. The life cycle is continuous. There's a transformation, but there's one identity threading through it. Now, a baby cow and an adult cow share that logic in Minecraft. They're clearly the same entity. One literally becomes the other. There's a continuous identity. You name a baby cow Steve. Steve grows up. Steve is still Steve, just bigger. The identity carries through. What's the equivalent for a baby zombie? There isn't one. A baby zombie will never become an adult zombie. Not through any in-game process, not through any mechanic. You cannot wait this out. You cannot feed it anything. You cannot trigger a transformation. The two mobs exist in separate lanes that never merge. They share a texture style, they share a name, they share a mob family, but they do not share a life cycle. And here's the part that gets genuinely strange. In Minecraft's code, mobs that can't grow up use a different tag. We talked about this, is baby versus age. But what that means in practice is that a baby zombie isn't a zombie with a timer. It's a distinct entity that happens to be categorized under the zombie mob type. Think about it from the game engine's perspective. When the game spawns a baby zombie, it doesn't spawn a zombie and then shrink it and start an age counter. It spawns a mob with its baby set to 1. That's it. That's the whole definition on what it is. There's no future state. No version of this mob isn't small. The smallness isn't temporary. It's essential. So what is a baby zombie really? Here's the theory. The permanently small mobs, the baby zombie, the baby husk, the baby drowned, the baby zombie villager, the baby zombified piglin, the baby soglin are not children. They are not young. They are not babies in any meaningful biological sense. They are a separate variant, a distinct form, and the fact that we've always called them babies, the fact that Minecraft has always labeled them that way, might be the single most effective misdirect in the entire game. Remember the intro. When a baby zombie kills you, the death screen doesn't even give it credit. It just says zombie. Not baby zombie, zombie. Maybe that's just lazy code. Maybe to the game, the baby zombie and the zombie are the same type, just different expressions of it, like two flavors of the same curse. Because think about what the mobs have in common at the core. They're all undead. They're all the result of something going wrong. A villager gets infected. Zombie villager. A pig dies in the nether. Zombified piglin. An already dead creature gets raised. Zombie horse. These are all transformations. These are all corruptions of something else. And when that transformation happens to something that hasn't fully formed yet, something that was never given the chance to become its full self, what do you get? You get something frozen, not young, frozen, locked into an incomplete state. Not by immaturity, but by the nature of what happened to it. The baby zombie isn't a zombie that hasn't grown up yet. It's a zombie that can't grow up, not because it's missing time, but because whatever process would have allowed it to grow was interrupted or was never there. It was cursed before it had a chance to become something, and now it runs at you faster than its adult counterpart, smaller, harder to hit, and the game doesn't give it credit for the kill. Disrespectful, honestly. But here's where I want to be careful, because this is the point where we go from facts into speculation, and I want to be honest about that line. The facts are, these mobs use a different code than aging mobs. They cannot grow up, they cannot receive the golden dandelion, some of them don't even exist naturally in the world. The game classifies them differently at a technical level. The theory is that this technical distinction reflects something real about what these mobs are, that calling them babies is a category error, and that they might be better understood as a distinct state of being, a third category somewhere between living and the dead, and also outside the normal flow of time. Outside the flow of time. Undead mobs don't age, they don't decay. Zombies have been walking around since the earliest days of Minecraft's world generation. They're not getting older, they're not rotting further, they're frozen in the moment of their death. And maybe, the permanently small mobs are just more visible versions of that same principle. Undead don't age. These mobs are undead and were small when they died, or when they were cursed. So they stay small. They don't grow because growth requires being alive. Growth requires time to matter. And for these mobs, time doesn't matter. because they're already dead. Or that's the theory anyway.
Here is what I keep coming back to. In a game about building, creating and growing, a game about progress and transformation and turning nothing into something, there are these mobs, these 9 mobs who never change. Every other baby mob in Minecraft is a question with a future. A young animal is what it will become. But the baby zombie was never going to become anything. It was never on its way anywhere. It just is what it is. Permanently. And I don't think Mojang planned this as deep lore. I don't think there's a document somewhere that says baby zombies are philosophically distinct entities representing interrupted life cycle states. It's probably just that it was simpler to use the isBaby tag for undead mobs. Practical reasons. Code architecture. Ship it and move on. But games develop meaning beyond their intentions. The lore you don't write is sometimes the most compelling kind. And now, every time you get killed by a baby zombie, every time you get clipped by that tiny hitbox and watch the death screen quietly blame a reckless zombie, you can ask yourself, was that the same mob as its adult counterpart? Or was it something else? Something frozen, something interrupted, something that was never going to be anything other than exactly what it was. I don't know, and I think that's the most interesting answer Minecraft ever gave us. If you have a theory, a better one, a weirder one, a completely different reading of all this, I want to hear it genuinely. Drop it in the comments. I read them. This is the kind of thing I'd rather have a conversation about than just declare an answer to. So thank you for watching, and it's me Martin, and I'm out.